Man,
Watching
this
your
is the
work.
good assignment too. It's not the bad one, like having you watch Rise of Skywalker.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Heroes Peak podcast. I'm your host, Chris. With me today, I've got my two co-hosts. Up above me, I've got James. How you doing, James?
Oh yeah.
And down below me, I've got Mike. Hey, Mike.
Hey, greetings from Canada, everyone. Your neighbors to the north, and we'd just like to ask you to keep the noise down a little bit. It's getting
The
kind of
the
loud down
apartment, the apartment over the meth lab.
here. Yeah.
That's you guys. So what you guys been up to this week? Working, staying home, protesting, arguing on Facebook.
A
Pretty
little
much.
bit of all the above for me.
Yeah, same here.
Trying to stay sane as well.
It's been a heavy
Yeah.
news cycle, that's for sure.
That's right. Everybody stay safe out there. But as our country slowly ticks forward some progress, little by little, fought for every inch. Just keep at it.
Hey,
Yeah.
It's a good day when Mitt Romney comes out and protests with
Wow,
people and says, "Hey, Black Lives Matter," right?
that was a surprise.
I'll take it.
And
Right?
he'll be voting for the Democratic opposition in the presidential election.
Yep.
That's
So
right.
we'll call him Powell, and looks like more and more of them are turning against the
Little by
fewer.
little.
Yeah.
And some legislation was introduced today.
We'll see.
The
if it
Democratic
passes
bill.
the Senate. Yeah.
That's right. Those pens, move those pens, legislatures. That's what we need from you.
Right.
Less feet, more pens.
Yep.
And I think for at least in the lower New York State, New Jersey region, it looks like we're starting to galvanize a redeployment of working from home to working in an office environment soon. So there's a lot of companies are looking to start opening slowly once Governor Cuomo releases phase 1 and 2 in lower New York. Obviously, Jersey will follow suit because of the working environment between New York and New Jersey. So that's going to be the next wave of stuff. People getting back to some sort of normalcy in their working environment and their office space. So that's going to be something. You're going to see that in the news.
Oh, I loved working from home. Being a janitor working from home, that was the best job ever.
But all the same number of clogged toilets, right?
Somehow. Don't ask me why, but somehow, yeah.
I know. Smart buildings.
That's right. No, we're getting close to opening up. I keep hearing about the next levels. They're allowing graduations, talking graduations up to 200 people.
And some churches.
Some churches,
religious,
and that kind of stuff. A lot of stores are talking about opening the mall. Stores are opening back up, but wear your mask. Don't forget to wear that mask. Wash your hands. Keep doing all that little stuff. That'll help us.
Remind
Summer
the
camps for kids.
Protesters out there, wear your masks. Don't forget.
Mhm.
Wear your masks and your gloves. Like, be safe.
All right. So, got a couple of things on our list to talk about today, and the first one of which is the NBA and Disney. I'm going to pass it up to you, James.
All right. So we were just talking about some sort of normalcy returning back to pre-COVID-19 pandemic. And it looks like the first of the four major sports, disregarding UFC and NASCAR, the NBA has decided to take this first step on and getting some sort of a professional basketball season actually to continue, not to start, because they were in the midst of their season, in the second half of the season when everything hit the fan. So they're looking now to re-engage the players, re-engage the teams, and have some sort of a completion of the season that was paused and delayed, and then get carried right into playoffs. So
playoffs?
Yeah, we're talking about playoffs.
We're talking about the playoffs.
And I don't think this has ever been done, even when it was normal health scenarios, where a major company like Disney partnering with a major sporting group, the NBA Association, and decided to host their playoffs and their seasons at one of their facilities, here being Disney World. So the commissioner and CEO of Disney decided that they will not only host the completion of the NBA season, which I'll get into a little bit later as far as the specifics, but also host their playoffs, house the players, immediate families, press, provide staffing for food, accommodations,
Damn.
all that stuff.
Wow.
And the thing that's funny is I don't know what the numbers are about this. I didn't do that much research into this. I don't think it's even disclosed. But that's a huge partnership for Disney and NBA. And ESPN, obviously ESPN is going to be filming this stuff, which is owned by Disney. So that's pretty interesting. Now, what are the specifics in itself? 22 teams are invited to return. So what that means, the New York Knicks, no, Keith's not on. Sorry, you're not invited.
I wonder why.
Basically, the top 16 teams that were in contention for the playoffs, including six teams that were in contention for getting the final seed. They will get a chance to finish out 8 games of what they were called the regular season. And depending on where the bottom teams are with 8th and 9th seed, there'll be a play-in tournament. So right after the conclusion of the 8 games, everyone getting reseeded. And then the bottom teams will play now a single game or double game elimination to close out the top 8 of each conference. Now, before any of this stuff is happening, is the NBA now has to work on the federal guidelines. They have to make sure that teams and members are on the quarantine period of 2 weeks. So I think June 30th is when they're looking to have everyone arrive at Disney to be preparing themselves for the quarantine before they can start the actual season. What that means is for certain foreign players, because the NBA is probably the most global sporting association in North America, you've got players now that have to leave basically a week from now to be able to get in their own quarantine, because I believe the United States requires 14-day quarantine for anyone coming out from outside. So if you're in Canada, for some of the Canadian players, if you're in England or whatever, Africa, you're coming into the league and you have to already have 14 days advance quarantine clearance before you can even step foot on a Disney property.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of stress for these players, right? Some of them may not have been preparing for this coming back, but they understand that in order for them to get paid the rest of their salary, something has to be done. And I think this is what Adam Silver worked out with the players union, saying, hey, you guys want to get to 40% back of your salaries, you have to play. And it's got to be, and we still got to play under federal guidelines for COVID-19, et cetera, et cetera. Now, what I find very interesting in this, with the 22 teams set up, the 8-game season conclusion, the play-in for the bottom teams, the playoffs themselves are going to be the normal playoffs. So you're still going to have 4 rounds of playoffs, 7-game series, first, second, third,
no
final.
traveling then.
No traveling. Now, what they've been talking about is home teams, those who are the higher seeds. They have options of picking which hotels they want to stay at. They have options of bringing their own wood floors from their arenas. Here's where it gets really tricky. It hasn't been released yet, but they're looking at pumping in sound from the home crowds.
Wow.
Okay.
So if you're the home team playing game 1 and you're on this court, you can have the announcer pumping LeBron James's whatever he likes to hear when he's in a home arena.
Yeah.
Boos when the other team is taking free throws. So they're doing listen, kudos to the NBA. I think they're far ahead of NFL, Major League Baseball, NHL when it comes to being innovative. And this was a good idea. They may not do it. They're still trying to tinker with it. They have to get the players buy-in, on this all teams. But that's something that's pretty interesting. So the playoffs are going to be normal fashion, and this is going to go straight through, I believe, September, end of September, early October.
Ooh,
and then 3 weeks from there,
other leagues, yeah.
And then 3 weeks from there will be the NBA draft. So, yeah, this is something that's going to be not just impactful for finishing out the season and having live basketball, but it's going to bleed into the next season. And it's going to bleed into other teams, like you said, Chris, the NFL. As you know, NFL starts in October. So that's basically it. We'll know more in the next coming weeks. I believe that this date is set in stone for June 30th. Everyone reports to the Disney opening camp, whatever they're calling it, like registration, quarantine, whatnot.
So
But we'll know more.
this is like the Kumite, where the defending champs automatically get an invite to the next season, right?
Yes, and an island somewhere called Orlando.
Yeah.
Wow, that's big to move basically half the league down or more down to the down and house them and feed them and basically run the entire thing. I guess they're thinking they have the space, and boy, will they get views.
Yeah.
I mean,
If anything we learned from The Last Dance is people miss anything related to sports.
oh yeah, definitely.
You know, I don't even know what the Lance Armstrong documentary is doing, but I'm sure it's probably up there too, and viewers watch.
How to be a cheater?
How to be a cheater. Precursor to the Bill Belichick doc.
Yeah.
Oh,
Testing the waters there with Lance Armstrong.
that's right. Well, I think this would be really interesting to see. I think if there's any company big enough to do it and do it right, I would think Disney, because they're obviously going to work close with the commissioner and all the players and the teams.
Mhm.
So it's not like they've got to figure out how to play basketball. They just have to run an event, and that's all they're doing here. So
They already have a built-in broadcasting company, you know,
Mhm.
ESPN.
Oh yeah, they're
Prime,
ready.
They're ready for this stuff. So
Right.
Yeah, talk about taking advantage of a situation and going,
Well,
wonder how
don't
many
they-
media.
They own ABC as well, don't they?
yeah, they do. They
So-
do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the
I wonder
only
how.
the only caveat to all this is assuming that the quarantine goes well, players do not get tested positive because each day players will have to get mandatory testing.
Yeah.
So and anyone involved in the arena where it's being where the games are being played, referees, press, immediate family members, staff, you know, you're still gonna have, you know, X factors here that might delay this whole thing, even after it started.
Now, I wonder if that would be like someone getting physically hurt. They'll just play without them, assuming it doesn't. They're not going to get rid of the whole team if one person tests positive, right?
We don't know yet. The specifics are not out on that yet.
Well, you know what? I imagine what's going to happen is if one person tests positive, they will have to go back into quarantine again.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
And they'll obviously run
Yeah.
more tests than everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, we'll see how that runs. You know, all of the sports I've seen all of the sports, big four sports talking about what they may or may not do. Like specifically, I saw Roger Goodell get on Twitter and backtrack a couple of years here. Remember how we really were against this this protesting thing? Yeah, we're on it now.
Yeah, we
Except
may have
for-
been wrong.
Except for Drew Brees for some reason.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's just amazing to me how forward the NFL could have been if they hadn't gone so hard against the protesting. The minimum amount of protest, like the smallest possible thing that someone could have done, and they went so hard, and their fans. And honestly, looking at comments, there are still people that still think for some reason it's a problem, and it just amazes me.
Even today, Trump's press secretary was like, he's still against kneeling. It's disrespectful to the military, blah, 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 blah. So,
Still trying to change that narrative,
Yeah.
like we said last week.
it's a little too late.
Mm-hmm.
So my question is Colin going to be getting 32 phone calls now for job offers?
No, not 32. He'll get it.
No.
Maybe he'll get a workout or two again.
Yeah, I hope so.
Because
Yeah, I hope so too. Considering that the amount of talented quarterbacks in the NFL has dropped tremendously in the
Yeah.
last
considering
season
I
or two.
watched Mitchell Trubisky really not live up to his number two draft pick status.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's not even talking about what Buffalo's been putting on the field. Oh. All right. That's sports. That's
That was quick.
well.
well,
Not all of
It's
sports.
all the sports we can really talk about right now. You know?
That's right.
That's true.
Everything else
All
is
right.
political. So.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's actually not done with sports because we were going to talk about, or James is going to talk about the ESPN doc 30 for 30 for Bruce Lee.
Yeah, I
And
guess
I'm
it
going to.
qualifies as UFC, right?
Mixed
No, that's
martial arts,
if you go to
UFC.
Not really mixed martial arts.
no, but if you go
Well,
to
no.
Hmm?
He is considered by a lot of folks, UFC, to be the father of mixed martial arts because he was the first one to actually show it in a movie where you can do different styles,
Different
wrestling.
styles. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so a lot of
Okay.
folks in the UFC and mixed martial universe, I mean, they won't say just him, obviously the Gracie
yeah.
family, whatnot, but Bruce Lee does come up in that conversation.
No,
I
but I
get
was
it.
just gonna say that if you go to the website, because I was looking for the doc, it's not up here,
Mm.
or it's on TSN up here, but I
Mhm.
missed it. If you go to there, you can find it under the UFC category, so that's where you go if you want to find the Bruce Lee documentary.
Well,
Yeah.
and for our geeks out there who are like, wow, you guys are just talking sports and politics. Like, Bruce Lee crosses all of the boundaries.
Exactly.
Actor, action movies, director, creator, obviously fighter, and just all of it. He embodies the not everyman. What's the Renaissance man in that
Renaissance
way?
man, philosophy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's been many characters, in comics and superhero world that were created, around the idea of Bruce Lee.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at Mortal Kombat, you look at some of the other stuff,
Street
it's
Fighter. Yeah.
regurgitating Bruce Lee without getting sued by
Exactly.
the Lee
That's right.
family.
Yes.
So yeah, and I wonder how much Shang-Chi is it Shang-Chi? Am I pronouncing
Shang-Chi,
it?
Shang-Chi.
Yeah. So we'll see
Yeah, I'm
if
sure
we
a
get
lot
into
of
that.
those 60s martial artist comic book characters were very very much thought the creators very much thought about him.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
yeah.
70s, but yeah.
So,
I won't get into the mindset of the '60s, but I don't think they had much else to go on, right?
Yeah, well, let's talk about that because
Yeah.
I did
So
see the doc, and
okay.
yeah,
I wouldn't. I'm not gonna say it was as greatly done as The Last Dance, because the material they had wasn't 10 hours worth of material.
Mm.
It was. I'm a huge Bruce Lee fan. I've been a fan of it since I was like a little tyke in little tidy whities, fake nunchucks. As an adult, I got to get some of his books and read his philosophy. I went to see his actual at an interview from Microsoft when I was in college in Seattle, and I took half a day to go to his funeral site and pay my respects. So I've always been a huge fan of Bruce Lee and his life and his craft. And watching the documentary, there was very little stuff or nuances that I didn't know about already. I did like, however, that they chose to focus probably a good portion of it on, you mentioned before the 60s, Mike. They did mention the fact that Asian Americans up to that time didn't have any positive real influence.
right.
So the director, who's also Asian American from New York, was mentioning, 20 years before Bruce Lee emerged on the scene, we had World War II where the Japanese were our enemies and they had concentration camps here in the U.S.
Yep.
10 years before that, it was a Korean War conflict, whatever you want to call it, war, conflict. And then right when he was coming into his peak, we're about to go to Vietnam War. So there was a lot of negative stereotypes with Asians and people of Asian descent, Asian Americans here at home, globally too, but mostly here at home. So he had a lot of obstacles. They showed you, they described to you the obstacles he had. Mind you, this guy was a child actor in Hong Kong, born in America. His
Mhm.
family brought him back to Hong Kong. His dad was also a thespian, an opera actor. So he was hoping to break it big in Hollywood because he was an American citizen too. No matter where you are in the world, when it comes
Right.
to entertainment, you want to make it here. Yeah, you could be
Right.
in Bollywood, make money. You could be in Europe, be the best soccer player, but you want to make your mark in these United States. So that was always his dream, to come back home, his home, and make it here in the U.S. And then he realized that that wasn't going to happen right off the bat. So they did talk about that. They talked about the fact that he was ostracized because he was Asian. He had an accent, although he went to college here in the States, University of Washington. And then as he was opening his school, because he realized, okay, he needs money, right? He's not getting these acting roles. You know, they offered him a lot of roles that were demonizing Asian Americans, like the Mickey Rooney character from Breakfast at Tiffany's, which is like
Ugh, awful.
fully abhorrent if you look at it now.
Yeah.
So he opened up his school. Very first pupil was an African American man named Jesse Glover, who joined his school because he was getting, guess what, beaten by police in his neighborhood in Oakland. So he wanted to know how to defend himself.
Wow.
Look at
And
that.
through a friend of a friend, he met Bruce, and that was his very first pupil. And then, he expanded his school to Caucasians, women, etc., where he met his wife, who I found out remarried. That I didn't know. But that's okay. Your husband's dead, you
You're
move
still
on,
young.
right?
I mean,
Yeah. So then they actually go, and then the stuff that they go into later on in the second half is things that we all know about. The Green Hornet lasted one season. He had to fight to get script. Like his character had no dialogue in the first couple episodes, and he had to fight to get that. And then he wrote the concept for Kung Fu, the Legend of Kung Fu, that David Carradine.
I was gonna say.
Yeah.
They took
By the
from
way,
him.
very beautiful clapback at Kareem Abdul-Jabbar when he was talking about that. He was like, they want him to give it to, what's that guy's name again? David something. I was like, wow, are you gonna clap back at David Carradine? So he went back to Hong Kong and said, you know what, I'm just gonna go back, trying to make it big there, give myself another shot, and which he did. Unfortunately, his untimely death kind of like put a permanent pause to him really coming back here in the U.S. and fulfilling his true goals. But so I think overall, I didn't say, I don't think that the doc was as great as I was hoping it to be, but I was still entertained, and I did like how they focused on the racial aspects more so than I thought they would do. ESPN being the as broadcasting it, they really went in there about the 60s and 70s and how I mean, perfect timing what's happening right now in the world, that Hollywood had no faith. In fact, they made sure that he never had an opportunity to do anything big here while he was still on stateside before he went to Hong Kong.
It's a shame.
Well, and little did he know that he would end up anyway making the giant, becoming that giant figure
Icon.
Yeah. That even without being able to make that second pass, he did it. Unfortunately, he just wasn't alive to see it.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the great ones, wasn't alive to see it.
Died at 32, man.
This is a weird thing. Like, you don't really hear a lot about Bruce Lee, but it's amazing how many people still know who he is. You know what I mean?
Well, every once in a while, Hollywood will make a movie about him, or a movie that has a Bruce Lee character in it, or Bruce Lee himself kind of side in it. So I was just looking at the list here. I mean, do you guys remember the 1993 Bruce Lee story?
Yeah. That was with the actor, what's
The
his
Dragon?
name?
Jason Scott Lee.
The Dragon.
Scott Lee.
The Dragon.
Yeah, the Dragon.
That was a good one. I like that one.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting.
Except for the supernatural ties at the end. Like his family was cursed for teaching the white man.
Yeah.
Asian. Yeah, that part I was like.
But wait though, but I feel like that was more of a homage to probably his Asian side, because I think like that's a lot of, I think like that myth or that legend is part of the stuff that they believe. Like,
well, and also
you're not supposed to teach the Guailu.
And we should say hi, Keith. Thanks for joining us.
Welcome.
Sorry, I'm late.
That's all right. It happens.
I was teaching the Guailu.
But I'm looking at it now, and there's like a half a dozen Bruce Lee documentaries. There, plus all of his movies. Plus you have like The Crow. It got big again after The Crow and his son prematurely
another tragedy.
Prematurely passing during that production.
Your daughter's still alive, right?
You see how that curse?
Don't really see. I hear from her very much.
No.
You see how that curse narrative?
Yeah, it's like Jordan's kids.
Narrative.
You don't hear from them.
Jordan's kids.
Yeah, you don't hear from them. But yeah, I mean, there's even a game, Genesis, 1993, based on the movie.
Yeah.
Well, in Street Fighter 2, they added, was it Kung? No, not Kung Lao. That's from Mortal Kombat. Fei Long.
Fei Long. Yeah, Fei
Yeah.
Yeah,
Long was
what's the guy?
basically
That's
Bruce
the
Lee.
yellow and the yellow and black suit,
Well,
right?
it's funny because they already had Lee, and
Yeah.
Lee was just Bruce Lee, and then they
Right.
added Fei Long, who was the embodiment physically.
Enter the Dragon, Bruce
Right.
Lee.
Yeah, Chris, you and I saw that movie again recently, and
Oh, yeah.
Fei Long was in it, right?
Yeah, he was,
Mhm.
and so it's
Don't forget The Last Dragon of Bruce Leroy.
That's right.
Who?
Cult
Bruce
classic.
Leroy. I just watched that like a couple months ago, like 2 months
Oh.
ago.
Yeah.
Classic.
That was better than I remember.
Oh,
But
did we lose Keith?
though
No,
the
Oh, okay.
the last fight was like 3 hits apiece, and then it was over, and I was like, I don't remember that. I thought that was better than.
Hmm.
Really wasn't today's action standards, that's for sure. But an icon that continues to come about. I'll be interested to watch because I think the politics of the world surrounding that is a really interesting take on his fame and all the pushback he was getting for all of his foresight in creating a type of storytelling that this country would be interested in, and really not being allowed to do it.
Yeah, I mean, there's certain things that they didn't touch upon that I thought would have been interesting, like the fact that he was one of the first people in Hollywood to storyboard his fight choreography, and that he used real life, like, okay, they did talk about this part, how he was a huge fan of Muhammad Ali, and how he was looking to incorporate some of Muhammad Ali's styles and some of his choreography, still keeping traditional kung fu, wrestling, and again, I said the godfather of mixed martial arts, but he was one of the first ones that was trying to mix all those styles and then storyboard it so that when he was like filming it, it looked authentic.
Right.
As opposed to back then when the guy used to swing off the horse, missed by 6 miles, and then all that stuff that we had in Hollywood in the 60s and 50s.
Yeah, they didn't know how to do action. I was watching car chases, and even then it was the bullet chase from the movie Bullet. And I was like, this isn't very exciting, actually. This is quite boring. The car's slightly going faster than traffic. And yes, they're going downhill. So
No,
Yeah,
I heard like one of the best was in the French Connection. Best car chase scenes.
with
Gene Hackman?
Gene
Yeah.
Hackman.
So
It's been a while since I've seen that. I'll have to look.
yeah, we should talk about that another time though. Good car chase movies, right?
Yeah, we'll have
the
to
first
bring.
Dirty Harry movie. Yeah.
Yeah,
Keith,
I asked you guys recently on chat what your favorite was, but
Yeah. Did you watch the doc, Keith?
Yeah,
Oh, okay. What'd you think?
I think it was like too short. I think that there wasn't. I'm left questioning after looking at the doc. I'm wondering like, when did they complete that? Like, when was it finished? Like, because it looked way too textured for right now. Like it was built for this moment. You know what I'm saying? So like, I don't know. Like I felt like it could have been multi-episodic, at least 2 or 3. I think that there was tons of information they didn't cover,
Yeah.
and nothing that we needed him there personally to say anything. But like, I think that was obviously focused on the like racial aspect of him trying to break through and what the obstacles, like those very racial obstacles to breaking through. Like I think like it's just I really wonder at when that project was canned, like when it was done, because it just seems too perfect for this
That's
for
what I
right
thought.
now.
There's so much they didn't touch upon, like the fighting style. When he developed his own fighting style, his interactions with Chuck Norris and all these others,
The actual sports stuff.
the actual sports stuff, like
the
MJ.
But MJ got 10 episodes. Like, we got the little personal one. We got this, you know what I'm saying? Like, for the amount of time in the 2 hours that they spent on like making sure they drove home that racial point, like the racial issue part. I feel like they just made it yesterday.
Yeah.
Like,
I should look that up. Good point. I didn't think
it's
the timeline when it
weird,
was
like
canned.
what they focus, and for it to be an ESPN 30 for 30, like it's not like we're not watching it, like we're watching it on a non-sports network. It's a sports network. Like we know what all 30 for 30s are about. Like there was literally like minimal, I'm saying conversation about the athletic and sporting part of what he did. Like, and that story.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of different documentaries, a lot longer about his life. So it'd be hard for me to pick one out and say, hey, everybody try this one. So there's like just too many. But like,
it's nice though to keep his memory going. Get a refresher in there. And I was just gonna say, remind everyone he was in or somebody playing him in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Where Brad Pitt.
I did not like that.
No.
Yeah.
Wait, what did he do?
The depiction of Bruce Lee in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. The character, the actor, and I'm sure he's doing his best, but is really, I put it on Quentin Tarantino, the way he wrote Bruce Lee as being this overly confident guy, just randomly picking fights, and then Brad Pitt's like, I got to put this guy in his place. So they kind of go head to head, and first he throws Bruce Lee around like a rag doll, and then Bruce Lee to kind of fight to a stalemate, and then the sequence stops there, and then the story continues.
He fights Bruce Lee to a stalemate.
Yeah, but then Quentin Tarantino tries to make it seem like, well, Brad Pitt's character, you don't know what he's telling is truthful or not. Like, did he murder his wife or didn't murder his wife? So he could have been,
exaggerating. Yeah.
But that's not what the audience got out of it. Like, you saw the comments on social media. People did not see that. And Quentin Tarantino is a great filmmaker. He should, when he was editing that, he should be like, what's the audience going to take out of this? Are they getting my message that this dude might be having a reverie, or is he really just, this is Bruce Lee overly confident getting his ass whooped by this Caucasian man who's really, really about that stuff?
Yeah, what I saw him say, Quentin Tarantino say, was because the character he created was imaginary, he could say, oh, I think this guy could beat up Bruce Lee, and that's okay because he made him up.
No,
it doesn't work that way. It
Like,
creates
no,
a very
work that way.
specific image, right? So
no.
the other thing to watch would be Ip Man.
Yes.
So the Ip Man series is about the Ip Man who is Bruce Lee's original teacher.
Played by Donnie Yen.
The first two are amazing.
Yes.
I've only seen the first one fully. I haven't seen.
I've only seen like the first two are the only ones worth watching.
And then the one with the Mike Tyson fight.
4.
Which one was with when the Japanese had taken over?
Exactly.
That was the first one. I think that was the first one. That's the first one.
The second one, the second one was good, and I saw like half of the third up to where Mike Tyson was in it.
Yeah, then you start getting to weird.
I've only seen that clip. I never watched the whole thing.
Yeah.
But I haven't watched the fourth one. I should get around to it. But
by the way, one last thing on this doc, that something that I've always known was amazing, but it's great to see even now in HD. The speed of Bruce Lee's strikes. When he was doing the opening, and Keith knows this one. So the opening of the show cuts to him doing like a Hollywood, like I guess camera testing before they do an interview, and he's like, "What camera angle?" He's looking, and then he's like, "All right, so show us some moves so you can see how wide of a shot we need." And there's an older gentleman standing in front of him, and you see the striking speed. It's like the camera isn't sped up; it's just his natural speed. Like even now, you put it 2020 at HD, it looks incredibly quick because this dude has so much body control.
Yeah,
it's impressive. But you guys already know that.
One of the greats.
Rest in power.
Right.
And quietly, and I heard this, Keith, Jalen Jacoby did a post interview with the director. I think he was getting it in the 70s, at the height of the 60s and 70s. Bruce?
Yeah. No, yeah.
The dude was
like, no, that's real talk though. Like sunglasses, man about town, like yes. He was definitely doing his thing in Hollywood. It was Hollywood Lee. Bruce wasn't. You think
we digress.
Bruce was beating people up his whole life? Like, yeah, that shit paid off.
All right. So next on our agenda is Harley Quinn season 2. Who here has completed the season 2?
Yep.
Yes.
I have.
Yes. Okay. All right.
Uh-oh.
So
Which one of these ain't the same?
Keith, man, you're missing out. It's a great show.
I think you would like it, Keith. Nah, you give it a shot. It'll be something they'd be
funny.
like, "Oh wow, this is funny."
It is
I
really
didn't
funny.
expect this.
Okay, maybe.
So let me IMDb here.
They're still on for a third season, right? This wasn't.
Yeah, I think they got a
Yeah.
third
I think so.
season.
Yeah, because the season 2 is even better than the first season,
Mhm.
in my opinion.
Yeah, I think so. I think they found their stride. So season 2, this is going to be spoilers. So when we edit this, I'm going to put in the spoiler warning. All right, spoiler warning. So season 2 is mostly about Harley Quinn having successfully become the villain of Gotham. The first part of the season is her taking back over from the Riddler and Penguin. I almost said Ice. Riddler. No, Ice.
Mr. Freeze.
Mr. Freeze.
Mr. Freeze,
Mr.
yeah.
Freeze.
Mhm.
So she
And Harvey Two-Face.
Harvey Two-Face and Bane technically,
Oh,
but
Bane. Oh, yeah.
hey, how you doing, Brooks?
I am great. How are you guys?
Oh.
You're a little late there, but it's okay.
Talk about your favorite character, Harley Quinn.
I was having some technical difficulties. My apologies.
No
Okay.
worries.
Um,
Monday, y'all.
okay, I'm gonna make a note here. This might be an edit. Mike, you're gonna need to edit out Brooks's email address there.
Oh, no, it doesn't show up in the recording, so it's not a big deal.
Oh, okay. I'm looking at an email address. I'm like, that should not be there.
Yeah, why do you have a Pornhub domain name? I don't understand.
James just discovered what that was.
It's
Privacy
okay, then
mode.
the names don't show up on YouTube. Right?
Oh, okay.
We're good.
All right, good.
That just tells me you're not watching our YouTube videos, Chris.
No, I don't.
Oh.
Nice.
Dude, I listened to this. I already listened to this.
I know,
you
I
guys
know.
twice. I'm not doing it a third time on purpose.
I know. My
Okay,
wife
guys,
is like,
here's
why do
the-
you keep listening to yourself? My wife.
Okay, so Harley Quinn.
All right, so Harley Quinn season 2. Brooks, have you seen any of the Harley Quinn animated series?
She didn't do her homework.
Nope.
That was your homework
yeah.
assignment last week.
No, I
All
gave her other homework too, and she hasn't done it yet.
Neither have I, Brooks.
That's right.
I am getting an F in this class.
Delinquents, man.
Sorry,
Incomplete.
guys.
Brooks and Keith sitting in the back of the class, not paying any attention.
Late,
Bro.
not doing our homework.
Man,
That's
this
your
is the good assignment too. It's not the bad one, like having you watch Rise of Skywalker.
No, I'm
This
trying
is
to
the
get
good assignment. This is a good show.
the baddest.
All right. I'm going to challenge you guys instead. I'm not going to assign it. I'm going to challenge you to watch 3 episodes and tell me
Ooh. Oh, that does it.
just whatever episode. Just hit one on.
Basically, if the first 3 don't hook you, then yeah, you can stop watching.
They are all available to you.
All right.
I would imagine. Stop pushing your damn drugs on me.
Yo, he's making it more and more obvious each time.
That's right.
Who?
No one. Continue, Chris.
So on the DC network, right? DC animated network.
Yeah.
Harley Quinn, she takes over Gotham. She gets rid of the Riddler. She gets rid of the Joker. She gets rid of Batman in season 1. The entire Justice League is gone, so she now works to run the
Queen
city.
B. Yeah, she's Queen B.
Right, but was Gotham split into the 5?
So
Yeah.
she
No man,
thinks
yeah.
she has the city, and then they freeze her out again.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Freeze, Penguin, Riddler, Two-Face, they cut up the city into their own little sections, and they take over. And she has to go, like video game style, she has to go section to section and kick some ass.
With her crew. She has a crew.
With
She's
her
not alone
crew.
here. Poison Ivy, Killer
Clayface.
Croc, Clayface,
No,
Oh.
it's Shark, King Shark.
King Shark.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay. It's
Yeah, she's not doing this all by herself, Keith.
That's right.
No, I
'Cause
thought it
then
was
that would
about
be
to be an
absurd.
all-girl power cast.
Oh no. Honestly, when Chris was trying to get me to watch this show way back when season 1, I was like, I don't want to watch this Captain Marvel uptight wannabe feminist type show that's gonna give me all the wrong. No, I'm like, no chance. But then I watched the first episode. I was like, this is not what I expected at all. This is actually pretty
Oh,
pretty
because
cool.
it's not feminist. It's not what you
Be like,
expected.
I was waiting. Come on, Brooks. I
No,
was waiting.
no, I'm not
I was
into like the
waiting.
feminists at the cause of demasculating men or
Tries to
bringing
be,
down men.
and they put her in her place.
So
Like-
I'll tell you, Brooks, it is a very feminist show, but
Okay.
just because it doesn't say men are crap, these guys are willing to watch it.
Yes,
Got
they
it.
can say, you know what, it's time for our equal rights too. And some of these men are good men. Not all men are bad. Then I'm like, all right, I like this. Cool. And the character's good. I've always liked the character Harley Quinn.
That's right. She's
James,
really
Yeah, come troll at me. Let's go.
James is a sexist.
That's
Sad.
sexist.
And this is why I'm going to challenge you. I think you'd love it. I think you'd love a couple episodes,
Yeah,
and
I think
you'll
so.
be
You
hooked.
think-
Um,
Dude, stop pushing your drugs on me. No means no.
I would watch it.
I'm not
Just
chicken. You're a
James.
turkey.
You're what, Keith?
I'm not chicken. You're a turkey.
Yeah. So I think this season, just so we don't fall off track, I think it was a good storyline with having her trying to get dominance, but also she was towing a line of how much of a villain is she really?
yes.
Like she wants control of Gotham, but not at the cost that some of these other villains want. They want to,
Yeah,
murder, kill, pillage, whatnot.
He was fighting that external struggle and an internal struggle.
Exactly.
So she
And-
wants to be a boss, but she don't want to pay. She don't want to pay the cost. Gotcha.
She-
It could
She-
be. Could be.
Gotcha.
She's very willing to hit people in the face with baseball bats.
That deserve to be hit in the face.
Right.
with
deserve
baseball
to
bat.
be hit
Well,
with baseball
that
bats.
seems to be the cost of being a minion or
Well,
a
no.
henchman or a
She-
henchman to be the boss. It costs a little bit more.
Right. Well, she separates the difference between innocent people and henchmen and guards and police and those kind of things. So she actually gets the power from Darkseid to control the parademons and take over the world. But
Mm.
another struggle during this series, during this season, was her falling in love with Poison Ivy.
Mhm.
And so
Oh, there's that arc.
yeah, so
Yeah.
Yes.
her seeing that Poison Ivy isn't liking what's going down, she's realizing herself she doesn't want to go that far. And so she gives up the power to take over the world a little bit for herself and a little bit for Ivy.
Poison Ivy.
So I started to feel bad for Kite Man because he's starting to grow on me a little.
Oh yeah. So
Yeah,
Poison Ivy.
dude,
Technically,
no.
Poison Ivy's engaged to this loser of a villain, Kite Man.
Wow.
Kite Man.
Okay.
Kite Man?
Yes,
Kite Man, yes.
He's got a kite on his back, and that's how he flies.
So yeah.
Wow. So basically, okay. He comes
This
from
is
the
all of the
he comes
weirdest
from the
stuff.
Hawkeye line of
Mhm.
superhero.
No, below that one.
Yeah.
Like
No.
you remember how back in the day Batman used to have Clockman and all these weird characters that were popular in the 50s and 60s in comic books, but in
Like
2020 they
Cat's
make no sense.
Cats had zero creativity.
Egghead. When was the last time you seen Egghead?
Rubber
No.
Man.
Now, Condiment King makes an appearance
Oh,
when
Condiment
they're
King.
when Kite Man
No,
No.
that's real.
he shoots ketchup and mustard.
Stop it. Stop
I'm
it.
not kidding.
Stop it.
does.
Stop it.
It was hot in 1942.
Yep.
Not in 1920.
And Kite Man and Condiment King are bitter rivals, and so
Mm.
when
Regular
they're
mustard or spicy mustard?
just yellow mustard, but he
Okay, just
makes
checking.
Yeah,
but
that
he
didn't
makes
exist
jokes
till like the
about-
90s.
he
So
makes
it doesn't even
condiment
burn.
jokes. Yeah.
You know, it doesn't even burn. Yeah.
Oh, this is also the season where Batgirl gets introduced.
Yes,
Right?
Batgirl gets
Yeah, Commissioner
introduced.
Gordon, who's now fully tanked, drunk alcoholic. That dude is gone. This is not the Commissioner Gordon you've seen in any of the movies.
But he
This
makes
is
his
not your
comeback.
grandma's.
He does try to make his comeback towards the end.
That's
He
right.
does, yeah, because he's trying to get into Batman's favor again. Who
Yeah.
Yeah, but his daughter, she shows up in this season. Pretty good. I like her character,
Yes.
Batgirl.
Yeah.
What did you think of the Batman arc where Batman tries to come back but physically can't? And so,
This is the one
Sorry,
part
I'm
of the
laughing
season
my
I
butt
did not
off.
like. Yeah, this is all right.
Alfred basically has to prevent him from going anywhere because he gets broken again by Bane within 10 seconds of being.
Yeah, so the last season ends and Batman survived a huge explosion that took out the Joker and Batman. And he's not himself. He's still healing. So Batgirl decides to pick up the cowl and mantle and go out there and try to, save the universe. I'm gonna say save Gotham. So Batman feels jealous. He's like, "Yo, I'm copyrighted. Who's this person wearing the bat outfit going out there, saving the day?" So he's trying to get himself back in. And the very first time he's out in the field, Bane breaks his back, and then
Again.
he's right back to having to rehab and rehabilitate himself, and realizes that he can't do it right now. He's gonna have to lead from the Batcave.
I
Is this
think
'cause he's old.
No, because he got his butt handed to him
yeah.
twice.
Mm-hmm.
I think my favorite part about
This is not comic book Batman.
No,
this
no,
is
no.
not like Batman wins no matter what the cost is.
this is like satire.
Keith, you're on
level.
mute.
Yeah. So my favorite part about this series is they take these storylines, Batman having his back broken, Bane having a prison underground, those kind of storylines, and they just interject this amazing level of comedy into them.
Yeah.
So Bane has his underground prison, but instead of it's a prison, but also he's trying to rehabilitate all the prisoners.
Yeah.
So they're doing yoga and they're doing counseling,
Plays.
and they're like painting.
The
And
talent
so-
show.
Yeah, the talent show.
Mhm.
So it's just a good level of comedy that's not just feminist or not feminist or any of that crap. It's just fun. The whole
Right.
thing's
It
fun.
is fun. Like, I was making fun of Commissioner Gordon, but yeah, seeing this dude battle with alcoholism, basically it's what he's doing throughout the entire season, because he feels like he's a failure to the Gotham PD, he's a failure to Gotham, he's a failure to Batman, his hero. Like you see the turn he makes near the end when he realizes, all right, he's got to do right by his daughter and step up to the plate, and trying to do his best to save Gotham. I mean, these little storylines here and there give the show some gravitas and some flesh that I never would imagine for a hard R-rated cartoon. I thought it'd just be like body parts and cursing and
Which there are plenty of.
which there are, but it's done and it's organically done.
It is.
We had a few. We had King Shark had his little storyline about having
That's
to
right.
get married.
Mm.
And then we had Dr. Psycho turning against the team.
At the end, yeah, he was good with them, and all of a sudden he decided, you guys aren't just bad enough. I
Right.
need to split from you guys. And
So he teams up with Riddler. Yeah.
Well, he had manipulated Harley into trying to take over the world, and then when she didn't, he got upset that she didn't do that, and so that's what he actually has a goal. So it's amazing.
he's a bad guy because he's a bad guy.
He's a bad guy, yeah.
Mhm.
And he hates women.
He used a C, he called Wonder Woman the C word, and that was when
That was his fall from grace.
He got banished.
twice.
He got banished from the Legion of Doom because of that.
That's fair.
Look at
Sorry.
They kicked him out the Legion of Doom.
Yes, they're like, you went too far, dude.
Wow.
One of Keith, one of my favorite jokes from season 1 was they were getting a tour of the Legion of Doom, and he said they don't kneel for the anthem there.
Wow.
Yeah, little inside jokes here and there.
Mhm.
Wow.
So
It's a good show, man. It's
I'll
really
check
good.
it out.
And I definitely like the main actress Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy's chemistry.
mhm.
Whoever,
Yeah,
I don't
they
know,
have
who,
a good-
who plays
they have a-
Poison Ivy.
they have a good
voice doesn't sound-
straight
It's-
man.
It's the one from that '70s show, The Girlfriend.
All right, I
With
got
the red hair.
She was on Orange is the New Black. She was also the girlfriend.
Yeah, the one with the red hair, the tall one with the
Laura
red hair.
Laura.
Lake
Prepon.
Bell.
Oh,
No.
okay.
Lake Bell.
No,
Yes, I'm looking at it right now. Lake
Wait.
Bell.
I'm gonna challenge
Like
you.
nerd battle.
Okay.
Nerd battle.
Flag on a play.
You guys have a nerd off to see who wins.
Let's go to Paramus.
What does Google have to say about
Oh,
this?
you're right. Yeah, Lake Bell, but
You just lost a timeout right there.
Yep. Chris is obviously nerdier than you.
I'm just looking
He's
it up.
won
Man.
the nerd
I don't
off.
remember.
The point I was trying to make is I really think her character, the voice acting, everything's pretty good with her, and it keeps you entertained. Like when she's on screen, like there's a reason why she's doing what she's doing. Yeah, she's environmentalist to like the 10th power, but you get her character. And again, I have to say I really like this show. I really do.
Yeah, I give it
So you really like it, you say?
Yeah, really like it.
A minus, A plus, A.
I give it this season. I give it an A. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely A.
Can we
Last
talk about
season I would have said B plus, A minus.
Talk
Last
about that
season.
finale though, because Batman sent the Batwing, which looked very similar to the '89 Batwing.
Oh, that's interesting.
And
Yeah.
I forget. Did we leave? We left off with some kind of cliffhanger, didn't we?
Yeah, because Harley
Joker.
had taken Ivy.
Right. Yes, Joker. Yeah.
Joker.
So Harley takes Ivy to her bachelorette party, but they end up doing it twice at the bachelorette
Girl, that
party.
second time was hilarious. She goes,
That's
we're
right.
just gonna lie in bed next to each other, right? Nothing's gonna happen. And then the next scene, oh my god, we did it again. Yeah, 4 times. Like, wait a minute. What? Yeah, it's
So
that
then-
level of maturity.
That's right.
Yeah.
Harley tries to get out on the town, and she ends up running into the Joker, who is not the Joker yet. And they get taken over, and she ends up remaking the Joker. That
The
was
Joker.
that was the end.
The
of
same explosion that took out Batman the first time took out Joker, but basically gave him amnesia. So he looks like a regular man, but he has these little bits and pieces
Episodes,
of like
yeah.
the way he
Now, is
laughs
this-
sometimes.
Is this the Francis Ford Coppola version of Joker, or like?
No,
or like
no,
okay.
this is like the Mark Hamill 1989 Batman
Okay.
version, but
That's
he
fine.
has temporary amnesia, so he's acting like he's a regular dude as a bartender. He's got a family, but every once in a while something will happen. He'll just break out to these weird laughs, and then like you can see memories starting to come back of who he
Yeah.
really is.
Yeah, this is the Joker that loves Batman more than anything, basically.
Loves Batman.
Yeah, he basically is codependent. Codependent's probably a better word. He more than he loves Harley, he wants to be fighting Batman.
Batman, like Lego Batman, the
Like
Joker and Lego Batman.
Well, it's the same.
It keeps him interested. Yeah.
And yeah, it keeps him interested. Yeah, Diedrich Bader is also the voice of Batman here,
Right.
and Lego Batman. No, is it?
No, that's not Lego Batman. Lego Batman is what's his name?
Will Arnett. Yeah.
Will Arnett.
Oh, Will Arnett. You're right. Okay, but no, this is a good one.
So yeah, strong task assignments for Brooks and Keith. 3 episodes, season 1.
Well,
That's
so
right.
let's talk about the end though, because at the end she throws him in the tank, right, to bring
Yeah.
Joker back. So
Well, what about
Well,
it?
what are we speculating for season 3?
Everybody's got to come back because she's
Yeah.
got it. She found
Not
out
just-
that the Justice League is gone and where they went to. So they're going to get the Justice League back.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and she, did we mention that she restored Themyscira?
Oh yeah, she
They were
saved
under
the
a
mascara.
spell. Yeah. Oh, apparently Justice League is in the
Oh,
Book
yeah.
of Fables.
Yes.
Yeah. Right.
Which for some reason only the Joker knew where that book was, which I don't remember that being
That wasn't
explained.
that wasn't part of that I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, for Brooks and Keith, you'll love Wanda Sykes playing, what's her name?
Oh, Wanda Sykes plays
The
mother
Queen of Fables, right?
Queen of Fables.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
That's interesting to me.
And
I like
she is not afraid to go there, Keith.
Oh, she's
Who's not
how
afraid to
she
go
is
where?
as an actress is
Wanda
exactly.
Sykes.
It's as if her comedian actress just changed into like little white grandma looking figure, and then she's pretending to be this character, but she's still really herself.
And where Harley Quinn won't attack innocent people,
Is
Wanda
the grandma
Sykes.
also gay?
No, they don't
no.
get into that. No,
I don't really get. I don't think
she's
so.
more about dominating, destroying, and controlling, and not so much her love interest.
Yeah, she slaughters an entire family reunion.
Wow. Red wedding. Nice.
she is not afraid to go there. She's the one who basically told Harley how to be bad, and Harley is got her on the iffiness. Okay, so I think we're going to continue to recommend that. Now, do you guys want to talk about Space Force again? We just talked about Space Force 2 weeks ago.
So
yeah, I know we did.
Did everybody see it, or we
I finally watched it.
Okay.
Yeah, I watched
So
it.
why don't we get? What about Brooks? Did you watch? Keith, Space Force. You saw it?
She couldn't even shake her head no.
Did you finish Space Force, Keith?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So why don't we just get James's opinion on it,
Mm-hmm.
and then
What did you think of it, James?
Yeah.
It was mediocre. My opinion, it was mediocre. I think you guys kind of gassed me up a little bit. Not just you guys.
I didn't.
I read some articles online that was saying that, the show was this, that, and the third. I watched it. I was waiting at least until episode 2 to laugh at anything. And it flowed, ebbs and weaved here and there. There's some moments I thought was hilarious, and then some moments I was like, oh man, can we just go to the next episode? I don't know. I don't regret watching it, but it didn't really entertain me.
But some of the characters, you didn't like the I thought Don Malkovich was great.
Okay, the two people that I really like was him and what's her name? Captain Ali. Her.
Okay, yeah.
That's it. I didn't even like Steve Carell's character.
Mm.
I didn't like the daughter's character. I didn't like anyone else in the actual Space Force other than Captain Ali.
The Russian guy?
Didn't like the Russian guy. That was just, oh man, that's such a waste. Throwaway.
It was so basic. Like they didn't even there wasn't anything interesting to take the comedy of the Russian dude being a plant to the next level. It was just like he asked the question, like, "What's your password?"
None of the actual Space Force, like the astronomy, none of the science staff was entertaining. Chang, you name them all. To me, they're just all throwaway characters.
I think Chang was funny.
I put this C-.
Mm.
I give it a little higher than that, but
Same here.
I was feeling some of the old man energy for me. Steve Carell was doing a little bit for me,
C-.
but
Right.
And I couldn't get by Steve Carell's freaking mountain of ribbons. I had flashbacks to Civil Air Patrol, and I was like, "There's no way this dude was able." He had ribbons that classified. I've earned at least 20 ribbons, so here's another ribbon for that. Like,
they love awards. They love giving awards. All right, so on that, I'm going to give everybody a shot to call out one or more shows they've been watching and want to recommend that everybody watch. To
got a
end
new one
our,
for you guys.
our episode. And I'm just going to go around the horn, so I will give James his first shot. So what have you been up to, James?
A show that my wife has got me binging that she's been watching for I don't know how long, but I just started over the weekend was 911. Particularly the Lone Star version that's on. Oh my God. I actually like that one better than the main 911.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I know. Maybe because it's cheesy. To me, it's more my cup of tea than how sophisticated and soap opera-ish the main one tries to get. The dude has freaking he's got cancer and he's trying to like keep it from his son, and you got like a weird group of people. You have a transgendered firefighter. You have the Muslim firefighter woman with the hijab. You've got the redneck down southern firefighter. You've got a good mixture of everyone, including Rob Lowe, who I always thought was a pretty good actor, and he's like the captain of all that stuff. Yeah, I like that one better than the main 911 show. And Liv Tyler, I forgot about her. She's in there too.
Oh, Liv Tyler.
Yeah,
I haven't seen her in a hot minute.
Mm-hmm.
Now the thing that I really like about it is the crazy stories they find themselves in.
Oh,
like
yeah.
a tornado out of nowhere. 911. Yeah, the tornado right around the corner of Main Street and Fifth Avenue. And I'm like, wow. Like they just create events that are world-ending. Like a wave hit their town. I'm like, where are they? Are they inland or in the coastal line? Like
That's right.
it's supposed to be in Texas somewhere. And each 911 story is like someone got stuck in a boiling machine. The bowling pins, like he was throwing it and he got stuck in there.
The bowling return?
Yeah, it was like crazy stories. So that's my recommendation.
As a kid who grew up bowling, I can imagine someone sticking their hand down that thing. My ball's stuck.
After seeing this episode, you would want not to. All right, that's all I got, Chris.
Okay. Whoa. Everybody moved. I'm gonna go to Keith.
He did it on purpose.
Yeah, he did it on purpose. Keith, do you have any recommendations for the home audience?
Well, the Epstein doc.
Ooh.
I have such a hard time bringing myself to watch it.
That was my homework, and I incomplete.
Man, I cannot impress upon you the amount of rich white male privilege on display in that movie. I mean, in that documentary. And I'm even like, yo, like, he actually, he got his, like, the victims got him to court.
Mm-hmm.
And then he, like, bought the courts off. Like,
crazy.
Yo, that documentary really, I started watching it really, like, I wasn't so much interested as I was just putting something on in the background as I was completing some other paperwork. And, like, yo, within the first 5 minutes, you're in. Like, are you, excuse me, what now? 12-year-old girls? Wait, what? Like, regularly flying in 12-year-olds from France. Like,
I think maybe if we had a different Justice Department, and I thought maybe something would come of it, but it feels like
it's the evils of greed and capitalism. It doesn't matter the system. We could have, this could be communism, this could be fascism. Greed is always going to kill you.
Oh, yeah.
Greed is always going to work its way in. And that greed is how, like, and it's other people's greed that actually sustains you in your in the power search as well. Because, like, he's paying people off. He's and understand, like, a lot of his power came from this dude had, like, a sex island. People from all around the world, like, powerful people from all around the world would come. Like, one of the people in the documentary, and this is what I actually liked about it, it was all first person talk. Like, there were 80 women, 80 girls that they actually like that would talk to them, but there were hundreds. Hundreds.
I don't know why we haven't firebombed it yet.
Yeah, right.
Like, napalm that entire island.
Well, it's not even just the island. Like, it's kind of like he went to jail. I mean, he went to court, got sentenced, and this dude was literally back at home.
You know what I don't get, Keith? I haven't seen it yet. I wonder who else is. It can't just be a guy like him. There's got to be others.
And at the end of it all, you realize he got murdered.
Oh
yeah.
The evidence at the end, like, he got off.
Epstein didn't kill himself?
And it's hard to feel bad for him. You don't feel bad for him, but you feel bad for justice, because you know that the people that whoever killed him, like, it'll be another 50 years and some accidental something or another that we'll find out any of the other people. Prince, what's his name only got found out because his stupid ass took a picture with the chick. With the young, before he smashed.
Oh, yeah.
So I heard the
15
Justice
years
Department
old.
wants Prince Andrew to come over and for questioning.
Good luck on that.
They've actually offered. I read something today that said Prince Andrew's lawyer has offered for him to come over, and that they basically put him off. So right now, I don't think any justice is going to be done in the current system.
Oh no! It's even his handler, his longtime female associate, girlfriend, whatever. Like, she was the fixer. She's still walking around,
so
free as a bird. Like, all of the chicks in the video spoke about her being the one that, like in some instances, she was holding their hands while he was molesting them. Like, it's the joint is so crazy, it's wild.
Yeah. All right. I feel sick to my stomach now. Thank you very much for the recommendation, Keith. I know it's something that
they
needs
don't
to be
focus.
watched.
Don't think that they focus on the acts. They don't focus
Right.
on the
No, I
acts.
mean-
So don't think like it's like
Mhm.
squeamish like that, because I would not have been able to stomach past the first episode with the amount of girls that it was that they're
Mhm.
talking about.
Yeah, it's just
And the dude is like a talented Mr. Ripley. Like he actually like lied like one of those guys who like mad smart, but
yeah,
totally uses it for nefarious.
sociopath.
Various
Yeah,
reasons.
yeah.
Dude, he lied his way. He had no brokerage. He had no brokerage licenses. Nothing like that. Like lied his way into a broker's house to sell stocks and bonds. By the time they realized that he had lied about his credentials, he was one of the top earners at the fucking thing. So he couldn't even.
Couldn't even fire him.
Yeah.
The dude
Well-
was literally like a talented Mr. Ripley. Like
Good movie, by the way. But
I gotta
Yeah.
great
find.
movie.
So I gotta
Great movie.
like if I'm gonna watch something like that, I gotta be in the right mood or mindset. You know.
I don't know if I have the. I don't know what that is
I
for
don't-
me, but
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't know. I couldn't tell you what mood or mindset that would be. Like,
That's right.
there ain't no mindset for that shit.
Yeah.
Just be prepared for a lot of wows. Like, oh my God. Wow.
Yeah. I understand.
Wow.
It's
10 episodes, right, Keith?
No.
10
I think-
1 hour?
Is it 10? No, I think it's like, is it 10? I think it's like 3 or 4.
Well, it's on
No.
Netflix, so
Yeah, it's not long like that. It's not 10
Yeah, I'm just
episodes.
trying to figure out when to watch it, how long it's gonna.
Yeah, it's like, I think it's like 3 or 4.
all right. I think it's enough Epstein talk.
yeah.
Thanks, Chris. Shut it down.
That's right. We don't want it anymore. I'm gonna give Mike his shot to give a recommendation.
So this was actually a recommendation from James. I've been watching Ozark on Netflix. Season 3 had just started. What was it, last week or so, James?
No, it started April, I want to say. It was the beginning of the pandemic. It was released.
Oh, okay. So it was just you catching up to season 3 when you started
Correct.
talking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I started from season 1 maybe 3 weeks ago, and I'm halfway through season 3, which is the last one. It's a story
Wow.
about
Not mess around with his benches.
no. So it's a story about a financial advisor and an accountant who's been laundering money for drug cartels, and they get into trouble, so they move to the Ozarks so he can launder more money for them. So it's kind of like a Breaking Bad situation, but I wouldn't call it the same because he did it voluntarily to begin with. But right now he's trying to save his neck and his family. So he's doing what he has to do to stay alive. And it's really interesting, starring Jason Bateman and Laura Linney. And the supporting cast has been great. Ruby, I don't know her name.
Yeah,
She's been great in it.
the actress. You know, Jason Bateman is also directing a lot of these episodes too, right?
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah.
So he's been doing a great job on it. And so definitely, if you're interested in a thriller type, Breaking Bad type show, I think Ozark's the way to go.
Yep, thumbs up too.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Is it as violent as the Breaking Bad?
Oh, I think it's worse
Yeah,
worse.
because
because
it's
it's R-rated. It's on Netflix,
yeah.
so
Okay.
they don't hold back. A lot of cursing, a lot of nudity, and a lot of violence for sure.
All right.
My cup of tea.
My cup of tea. All right.
There you go. All right,
Thank
I'll
you.
fire up.
Thank you, Mike. Brooks, do you have anything you've been watching that you could recommend? Old or new? It doesn't have to be new. It could be old. Something your favorite thing to watch.
Okay, I was trying to rack my brain on something other than 90 Day Fiance because that's pretty much what I watch, which I would highly recommend that. But
Oh, you're in love with No Ned Ed.
No neck.
Neck Ed,
No neck.
aren't you?
Yes.
Ted.
it's Big Ed, by the way. His name is
Big
Big
Ed.
Ed. Yeah, but I recognize that this is the wrong audience for 90 Day Fiance.
Maybe
I don't
not.
No, I don't think so.
My wife put
watched
me
90
onto
Day.
that. No,
Yep.
my wife put me onto it. I've
Yep.
seen. Yeah, it's kind of sad.
So
But, yeah.
they, isn't
All those shows are sad.
so that the one with Ed is before the 90 days, right?
Yeah, there's like multiple different versions. There's regular 90-day, there's before the 90 days, then there's after the 90 days, there's 90-day quarantine, then there's a new 90-day.
I haven't watched the
90-day
quarantine,
what happens next.
but then I did watch.
The day after the 90 days?
Did you watch the last season's The Other Way?
90 days later.
That one, no, I haven't seen that one yet. I'm
Oh,
really
that is so good. You got to watch that. The Other Way.
Yeah.
What? So in the Other Way, our
Can't
Americans
call you
go
guys nerds.
overseas to get married.
Never know, Keith.
yeah.
It's like, what is this? This is not even nerdery.
Oh.
Desperate Housewives? What? Let me tell you about this one this season.
That's right.
So,
Hey, look, it's on TLC.
Yeah.
So that should tell you all you need to know from the makers of what is it, 21 Kids and Counting, and Hey Nate.
I
And
think
Hey,
it was
Nate.
19 kids and counting, actually.
I thought they had like 21 altogether or something at the end.
Two of them left the family, so they have to rewrite the title.
Brooks is living her dreams of being a
Also-
also
the channel of-
housewife.
Yeah. Also
God,
the
next
channel
week's agenda will be
600-pound life and
Oh, my 600
My
pounds,
Strange
right?
Addiction.
I
No,
cannot
those
watch.
are the, how the, like, who thinks of the shows that, like,
Keith, have you ever seen an episode of My 600-Pound Life? That
no, actually I have, and it's
that.
sadly funny though.
Is.
Yeah. No,
Like
my
she's
favorite.
she's super mad, like like what? It's your
They're
fault. You're
No, my
Mike
favorite is
so
the ones-
angry.
My favorite is when they go in. The doc says, "Okay, come lose 30 pounds in a month and come back," and they've lost maybe 2 pounds or gained 5 pounds, and they start arguing with the doctor, like, you know, this is not my fault. I don't eat. I eat 2 celery sticks a day and drink 3 cups of water,
Yeah.
and I don't understand why I'm not losing weight.
There's a lot of denial clearly
In
happening.
between these 16 chicken wings.
You know,
Yeah.
going back to No Neck Ted, the thing I said it was funny and sad at the same time, because in the beginning you laugh at how ridiculous this guy is, but then you realize
No Neck
this is
Ted.
a real person and another real person. They're trying to get in a relationship, and it's like that's the sad part. After you stop laughing for a little bit, you kind of take a step back and like,
No, but
wow,
you know
like
why I laugh? Because he's a dick. He's a
kind of
complete
a dick.
dick to her.
yeah, but
yeah.
this girl really thought that they're gonna spend a life. They're gonna start a life together.
Shut him down.
Yeah,
Bro,
but
shut
beginning
him
of it, did you watch? I watched it from the beginning where he first arrived at the Philippines, and then she was like introducing him to the family, and like in her mind, she's thinking this is gonna be
Mhm.
something that's gonna be bubbling, and then you get to see who this guy really is a dickhead, and then she starts like breaking down inside before she finally says, "All right, I'm done with this dude." I'm like, that's the sad part. Like, why would you think? Don't you see his picture? Like,
Well, maybe she thought that because he looked like that he'd be nice.
The thing was, he probably
Like,
was
like,
nice. He probably was nice online the whole time, you know.
yeah, that's true
It's-
too.
and it's a psychological thing. Like, it's not like
But he's not
if
the only
you
one.
look up
What about the dude who's been going to Ukraine like
Ukraine,
7 times?
Connor and David. Oh my God. And I was like yelling at the TV, like, David, she's not real. She doesn't exist. Or
Right.
whatever.
wow.
Even when they found her, she seemed like a fake person. Like she didn't want to be there. So
And then he proposes in the airport. I don't know. We have so many
Wow.
you guys
And
gotta watch. You have to watch just for the comedy value, so we can talk about it. We can do a
Yeah.
pod just on
I've
this.
seen some episodes.
things. It's just like bananas at this stuff.
I feel like we shouldn't be watching them this way.
That's the
I
thing.
don't know,
I'm
like,
saying.
And
it feels like that.
I think a new season of Happily Ever After starts in a couple weeks. So.
Oh, I like that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh my God, we found a new agenda for Brooks here.
Oh boy.
Every
That I just got. No, I have a real show. I have a real
Oh, okay.
go for it.
episode 4. It's Reprisal, a Hulu original.
Okay.
Okay, I'm not gonna be very good at explaining it, so I had to Google this. Fuck. Shut up, James. It is about a woman who gets left for dead. Her brother tries to kill her. Her brother is like the head of this gang, and he tries to kill her by. I do know. That's why I'm telling you. Stop trolling me. Okay. tries to kill her. He like drags her across a field. He like chains her up to his car and then drags her across the field to try to kill her, but she doesn't die. So she then decides that she wants to.
Don't read the chat. Don't read the chat.
Distract you. So then she decides that she wants to get a gang together and get revenge on her brother, but then she has to infiltrate the gang first, and then that gang has another rival gang. And there's, how am I supposed to not read the chat when you well, I'm trying to explain. Anyways, it's really interesting. It's about like a woman who gets underestimated, but really she's a killer, like a cold-blooded killer. And I'm on episode 4.
Who's in it? Who stars in this?
It's called
Who's in the show?
Reprisal.
Yeah.
Hold on, I'm waiting. She's reading the email.
I'm reading it.
Jeez.
Nobody like really famous.
Oh, okay.
All right, I'm looking it up. It's from 20,
Yeah, I guess I gotta look it up.
Wait, did it air already? It was gonna air. I missed that part.
2019.
Oh, aired already then.
It
Episode
made.
4.
Oh, Abigail Spencer.
Mhm.
Who's that? I don't know who that is.
Yeah, I don't recognize any of these people. They're all kind of mid-20s and very good looking.
Yeah, she's been on a lot of TV shows and.
Mad Men, Rectified, Oz the Great and Powerful, Cowboys and Aliens. Man, I forgot about that thing.
Oh,
Grey's
Cowboys and
Anatomy.
Aliens.
Jeez. All right, so I don't know her, but okay. Sounds interesting.
That's my show that I've been watching aside from 90 Day Fiance, so I was really excited that I had something to share.
Oh, good. No, don't let them bust your butt.
Oh, they
Thank
do
you
all
for
day,
sharing.
every day.
Yeah, that's right. All right. So I don't have one thing. I've decided to go through and finish a whole bunch of stuff I've been watching and just kind of it's been sitting in my queues. So after I made it through both 3 seasons of The Last Airbender and 4 seasons of Legend of Korra in like a week, I finished off Jessica Jones season 3. I give it a thumbs up. The second half really picked up, did a lot better. It's back up to kind of season 1 level. So if you didn't watch season 3 or you were hesitating, I didn't think the beginning of season 3 was all that great, but it really picked up in the second half.
I've seen that show.
Jessica Jones?
Yes.
You did?
I saw Jessica Jones.
All 3 seasons or just one?
Yeah, Keith, I know you did. I didn't know Brooks watched it.
Okay.
I mean, it's trash, but
I like it.
No.
Season 1 is
season
the
3 is
best.
not trash.
Season 1's
Oh,
amazing.
okay.
Season 2 is trash.
Season
I
2 was
conked out.
trash.
Yeah, I conked out mid. Yeah, I conked out mid season 2. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Season
3,
2 was bad. Yeah.
Yeah, season 3 rebounded.
Season
That shit
3
was
came
like-
back.
So what's your recommendation, Chris?
Yeah,
Oh,
we lost
sorry.
track.
I was going through my list. So
Sorry.
Daredevil season 3 also picking up in the second half. I don't know what's happening where the beginning of these seasons kind of just you're at a low point. They're trying to set all this stuff up, but I don't know. I guess it doesn't matter anymore because they're not making them.
Because they're done. Yeah.
They're done with them.
Did you ever see Punisher season 2?
I did. Punisher
Okay.
season 2 was good.
Okay.
It was. I think it was better. No, it wasn't better than season 1.
No, I wouldn't say it's better than
No,
season 1.
Okay, my actual recommendation is we started watching Amazing Stories on
Oh.
Apple, right?
Mm.
Apple TV?
Apple TV Plus.
Yeah. And we've watched the first 3, and they were all great. They're all wonderful, very well made, well acted. They're all it's just shorts. Each episode
Like the original show.
Yeah, each episode is its own thing. So the first one is like a time travel love story. The second one is like a ghost love story. It's really good. I don't want to tell you what it is because there's kind of a hook to it. So
there's a hook.
since it's just one episode, I can't kind of go into descriptions.
No, but I mean, if you guys remember the old show, each one was a good, unique story.
Mhm.
Nice
Yeah, it wasn't serialized. It was like
Right.
anthology.
It was an
It wasn't
anthology.
and
connected.
they only did 5 episodes for this re-release. So
Right. So yeah, it's really good. That's my recommendation. Amazing Stories on Apple TV if you have an extra $5 a month or something like that. All right. So I guess we are done for the night. Thank you, everybody. I had a fun time.
Mm-hmm.
Always a good time.
Yeah, man, this is good.
Hey, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast on Spotify, iTunes, TuneIn, all your podcasting carriers. And don't forget to subscribe on YouTube. Give us a like and comment on the video. Let us know if there's something we can do better or something you really like. Let us know.
Or something you'd like us to talk about one of these
absolutely
evenings.
We appreciate the feedback.
Yeah, and if you like Mike's background looking like a conspiracy theorist basement, let us know.
Oh, my wife said that too the other day, and I was like, "Stop it."
Where's this dude's metal hat? Where's his tinfoil hat? Like, do you know when the big one's coming?
I have the Zack Snyder's cut right here.
It looks like he has his headphones in the back, like he's still listening for aliens.
Wow. On that note, we are going to cut it off. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night, everyone. Be safe out there.
Yeah, be safe. Thanks.